Hello students of class 7th. Today's video is in continuation with the first chapter of science, which is nutrition in plants. This is my 6th video on nutrition in plants. Students, we have studied about the autotrophic nutrition in plants. Now today we are going to discuss the heterotrophic nutrition in plants. There are different types of heterotrophic plants that are saprophytic, parasitic and insectivorous. So we are going to discuss them one by one. So we'll start with parasitic plants. These are the plants which take nutrients from another living plant. So these plants live inside the body of some other plant. There are certain plants which live on other plants and obtain their nutrition from that plant. So such plants are called parasites, and the plant on which it depends for food, this plant is called host. So host is that plant where this parasite is living. Let me give you a very common example of parasitic plant, and that is dodder or cuscuta. They both are same. That is dodder and cuscuta are the same plant. It has two names. We can call it dodder, we can call it cuscuta. You can see on your screen the yellow colored plants. Very thin leafless vines which you can see are these parasitic plants. Now can you tell me that why they are yellow in color and not green? Yes, of course, because of lack of chlorophyll. Now, since they don't have chlorophyll, they cannot prepare their own food. So they depend on some other plant. So here on the screen, you can see this cuscuta are the yellow plants and they are living on some other plant which is green in color. So this host plant, that is the green plant, is going to perform photosynthesis and prepare its food, and the cuscuta is going to obtain its food from the host plant. These parasitic plants have root-like organs that penetrate into the stems of the host plants, and through those root-like organs they derive water and all other nutrients from the host. So these plants, especially the dodder, they do not have chlorophyll. Even if they have very little chlorophyll, which is not enough for photosynthesis. So this is one example of the parasitic plant. Another example is the Australian Christmas tree. These plants are equipped with green leaves. If you look at these plants, you can see on the screen, they have green leaves. That means they have chlorophyll. So they can photosynthesize and provide its own nutrition, but still they maintain parasitic root connections with other plants to exploit their water supplies and obtain water from them. So what happens, students? These plants are capable of preparing their own food. They can prepare their own food. They can photosynthesize. Still they steal food from other plants. And as they are stealing food from other plants, that is they are getting food from other plants also through their root connections. So that way we can call them as parasites. They became parasites in that way. Now you can see in the first example that the cuscuta or the dodder, it didn't had any choice. Okay, it didn't had any choice rather than depending on other plants, because it didn't had chlorophyll, so it could not photosynthesize, so it was unable to prepare its own food. But in the second example, even though they are capable of preparing their own food, still they are dependent on some other plants. So both of these, the cuscuta and the Australian Christmas tree, they both are the examples of parasitic plants. Okay. So the next plant we are going to talk about are the insectivorous plants. These plants feed on insects. Here the leaves are modified into structures that help to trap insects. So the best example I can give you for insectivorous plant is the pitcher plant. So if you see a pitcher plant which is shown on the screen, the leaf is modified into a structure which looks like a pitcher. You can see it's like a jar or pitcher with a lid. What is pitcher? Pitcher is a jar. Okay, we call jar a pitcher also. So it is like a jar with a lid. Now what happens is these leaves act as a prey trapping mechanism. They act as insect trapping mechanism. Now whenever an insect comes near this plant, in this pitcher there is deep cavity inside. Inside this pitcher is present a lot of digestive juices and all. So once the insect falls into this pitcher, then these digestive fluids actually help in digesting that insect. Like whenever you see we eat anything, it gets digested because we have certain digestive enzymes present in our body. Similarly, inside the pitcher a lot of digestive fluids are present. So as soon as the insect falls inside the pitcher, the insect gets digested by these fluids. Now the rim of the pitcher is extremely slippery. So as soon as the insect sits here, insect slips inside, and as soon as the insect falls inside, the lid closes, and that's how the insect gets digested inside. So that is how these insectivorous plants work. So here also you see they depend on other insects, but at the same time these plants have chlorophyll and they can also photosynthesize. So this is an alternate mode of nutrition. They are autotrophic, but at the same time they are heterotrophic also. So these plants, you can see I have given you a picture of a pitcher plant, and also I have given you a diagram in black and white, the diagram of pitcher plant. So whenever you have to draw in your notebook, if I'll ask you or in your exam, so you're going to draw this diagram. Thank you students for hearing me so patiently. I hope you have understood the two types of heterotrophic plants. We are going to discuss the third type of heterotrophic plant in our next video. Till then, revise whatever I have taught you and complete your assignments. Thank you so much.